Welcome to another episode of Knowledge is Power. It is the day that when we have different experts in their field to come and share with us their knowledge, their experience. And our goal is to help you to empower yourself and to find the things that will help you to overcome your challenge. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that concerns all of us as women over 40, menopause. A lot of people, when they hear the word menopause, they're like, oh my God, what is going on with my body? And what is the worst thing? Where's all this weight come from? I have been doing exactly the same thing. I haven't actually done anything wrong, but I'm keep getting belly fat and all those excess weight from nowhere. What should I do? Where does that coming from? Today, I have an expert here for you to share with you the mastery of menopause and also white wellness. Hi, Cynthia Brace. Thank you so much for being with us today. Please tell us what you do and who you are.
Thanks, Martha. Thank you so much for having me here today. I am Cynthia Brace. I am a holistic nutrition expert and a health, lifestyle, and mindset coach for women over 40. So yeah, I help women understand what's happening in their body and really help them with their symptoms and all of the things that are happening, but in a way that they can do it in their everyday life.
Oh,
Because really, that's what it comes down to. How do we do this stuff and live our lives,
hmm.
right?
That is true.
That's
That
really
is
what I
true.
focus on. It needs to be something that's everyday and sustainable.
Oh, I hear you so much because I have here from our group that a lot of people say, oh, there's all this advice out there. Which one should I listen to? And I understand that every single body is different. So we do need different things. And that's why that you talk to an expert like Cynthia here to find out what works the best for you. But if this is a genuine, simple way that we can look after ourselves better, today it is your time to learn about it, to understand it, so you can find the things that will help you to overcome your challenges. So, Cynthia, I'll leave the floor to you. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Wonderful. Thanks, Martha. I am just going to share my screen because I
Mm,
have a presentation for you all today. Just make
yes.
sure. Can you see the screen, Martha?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. So, as Martha says, I am here today to talk to you about menopause mastery and weight wellness because there's so much confusion around menopause. Um, I'm going to be going over the process and some real practical steps that you can take. And these are the very things that I've applied to my life and help my clients easily incorporate it into their unique life, which profoundly changed how they feel mentally and physically, helping them to reduce their symptoms, have more energy, lose weight, and feel fit and healthy. So the symptoms of menopause are real. We all know this. And the list is long and varied. But because we're all unique, many of the top symptoms are like hot flashes, night sweats, disturbed sleep, trouble concentrating, thinning hair. But realistically, most women look for help to lose weight. And I know that you've read the books on losing weight, listened to the podcast, tried the restrictive diets, maybe even tried keto or many of the other fad fixes out there, but you're still not getting the results you want. So as you age and your shape seems to be getting different, it seems to be changing, right? Martha was saying that belly fat and what you were doing before wasn't working. And I totally get this. I see you. And I'm going to hear, like, I want to tell you, give yourself some grace because you're not alone. And it's a challenge for so many women. And I'm going to talk about why those things don't work for you and what's missing. So, what if you could say goodbye to diet frustrations, the energy slumps, and information overload, and have some relief from those frustrating symptoms and confidently navigate the sea of information and make informed, healthy, happy choices? Feeling relaxed and radiant in your own skin and embracing midlife with joy, grace, and vitality. Hands up, who wants that? Yes. You actually can have that. It is possible. But the answer needs to be simple, and it needs to be long-term and sustainable. And I'm going to do my best to give you the understanding of what's happening in your body and some of the actionable steps towards the results that you're looking for. I'm also going to give you a realistic, long-term sustainable solution towards that weight wellness and menopause mastery. So as I said, I'm Cynthia Brace. I'm a holistic nutrition expert. I'm a health and mindset coach for women over 40. I'm also the author of Redesign Your Interior, 8 Steps to Reclaiming Your Health and Creating a Balanced Life. And I get where you're coming from because I have had those symptoms. I'm still on my perimenopause journey. So I incorporate these exact things I'm going to talk about because, I'm feeling the same way as you are. I've had some of these challenges and I want to be healthy and fit and sexy at any age. And so what I'm going to be talking about is a sustainable part of my life. And it's something that's not hard. These are the exact things that I talk to my clients about as well. So first of all, let's talk about perimenopause and menopause. What's going on there? So perimenopause, which a lot of people, they get confused about this. So perimenopause is a time before official menopause it starts. And this is actually when your hormones are fluctuating a lot. You're having those irregular periods. And this starts as early as your late 30s. It depends on you as a unique person, how bad your symptoms are, or even if you get them. But some women can get them in the late 30s and it can last up to 10 years. So many people get shocked about this because they had no idea. They didn't realize that it could last that long. Now, menopause is when you've gone 12 consecutive months without a period. So that's kind of the later half of where, your symptoms are lessening. So most of the symptoms you're seeing are during the perimenopause phase. Okay. So let's get that information out of the way because so many people are confused about that. Now, since we're talking about weight wellness, let's talk about the belly fat for a minute because you may have noticed that your shape is changing and your fat is migrating there instead of other places. So the lower amounts of estrogen is one of the big reasons why. When we're younger, estrogen is what guides that fat to be put on our hips and our thighs, and it's what makes women look curvy. And when estrogen drops, the fat now gets guided to our belly, which is visceral fat and is more inflammatory and harmful to our body because it gets, all in between our organs. So that's what's happening with that, with the extra belly fat. Now, most of the time, the answer to that is going on a diet, right? Most people think, okay, my body's changing. I have this extra body fat. I need to go on a diet. That's normal. That's a normal way people think. So it restricts what you eat. You follow a set meal plan. You're exercising way more than you normally would. The problem with diets, other than the basic concept of them, I'm not a fan of diets, is that you do them for a short period of time and then you go back to doing what you were doing before, which wasn't really working, because if it was, you wouldn't be looking for some kind of solution, right? And said with so much love, this is completely understandable because we're not taught how to be healthy and maintain our health in our regular everyday life. I wasn't taught that, and most people aren't. I was taught because I specifically went out and got trained to do it, but that's not the answer for a lot of people. So give yourself a break when you're thinking this way, right? This is why diets don't work, because it's not real life. They don't actually teach you how how to maintain these results or whatever results you got, or how to maintain being healthy. I mean, I don't know that diets are all that healthy, but they don't teach you how to be healthy in everyday life. That is the challenge. So that's what you want to focus on. How to be healthy in everyday life. But how do you do that? That is the challenge. Okay, so now we are on to our practical steps. So the first practical step one is you need to get your brain on board. This is one of the things I focus a lot on with my clients. And, you know, working one-on-one and in my programs, because it's an integral part of your life. How you're thinking, how you're feeling, what your beliefs are. You're living with your thoughts all of the time. So if we don't get your brain on board, no kind of change is going to happen easily or long term. So that's why we need to think of what's happening up in our noodle, our brain. So here's one for you. Let me ask you, do you believe that you can be healthy and fit at any age? Think about that for a second and really, like, do you believe that? Or that your aches and your pains and your symptoms or other health issues are just age related and there's nothing you can do? Which one do you believe? Or do you believe something in between? Right? There's two different mindsets right there, or maybe three or four, depending on what came up for you as a belief. Right? So when we have these beliefs, it formulates what happens in our body. Because if you believe that it's just a part of aging, then you won't have this motivation and desire to find a solution that works for you to be healthy and fit at any age. And even if you are having a solution, if you don't believe that it can actually happen, guess what? It won't. So again, this is where our brain comes in. Another part is a diet culture mindset. Is that holding you back from being healthy and fit, whatever shape you're in, whatever shape you are? So many women have this diet culture mindset saying things like cheat days or I deserved it. Or when they talk about food, they say, what's allowed? What am I allowed to have? Oh my goodness. And most women have no idea that they're saying or thinking these things because it's like part of our subconscious. It's really in there. It's everywhere. It's from media, from social, from TV shows, movies. It's everywhere. We're just all so used to this language. Don't feel bad about it. Everyone thinks this way. So when we're talking about mindset, what we want to do is start to get your brain on board by becoming aware of how you're thinking, right? Do you believe it's possible to be healthy and fit at any age? What were you feeling when I said that, right? If it's not something that you actually believe, what can you believe? Can you believe maybe it might be possible, right? That's cracking a window. And if you can crack that window with the maybe or possible, then you're able to take that step forward. Then you start building this body of evidence. Once you get on a path of, the solution, you can start building a body of evidence to say, oh, okay, yes, now I do believe that it is possible. This is how you get your brain on board. So you want to become aware of your thoughts. And I'm telling you, my clients are always surprised at how often the diet culture mindset comes up. And I always say, again, don't feel bad about it. It just come at these thoughts with interest and curiosity. It's like, oh, interesting. I thought that, or I said that again. That's hilarious. And that way, the more you catch it, the more you notice it, then you can start shifting it to something else. I didn't actually mean I deserve that, because I deserve to eat. You can change your thoughts into something else. I'm not cheating, I'm nourishing my body, right? There's ways to shift those beliefs. Journaling is a great one for this. Writing down when you notice these things and shifting those thoughts. You can also use meditation, affirmations, and of course, getting help from a coach will kind of, help you shift those thoughts and beliefs. But getting your brain on board is really important. Next up, practical step 2, notice how I didn't say exercise. That's a mind shift most people feel negative towards the word exercise, right? When I say exercise, how does that make you feel? Right? Oh, I don't want to do it. It's going to be hard. I don't have time, maybe later, right? So, what do you feel when I say, I'm just going to go move? I'm just going to go out and move. I'm just going to go move right now. Pretty neutral, right? You don't have any negative thoughts towards that word. And so I use this as, a mind shift technique to help people get into a different mindset towards exercise, which we'll now call movement. So think of your exercise as movement instead. So a lot of us spend the day sitting, right? I spend the day sitting. So we need to work into our day spontaneous movement. Get up and move around. Do some stretching, do some squats. That's my thing. I'll get up and I'll just stand right over here and do a bunch of squats. And I also dance around. These are some of my favorite things to do. So pick your favorite things. When you're in the kitchen, you can, dance around, do some squats, or do whatever kind of movement. There's ways to incorporate movement into your day. And when we're doing longer times of movement, have fun with it, right? Get into the habit of moving regularly in a way that's fun for you. And once you start doing that and you get into the habit of it, it will become a habit and movement becomes easier. So when I talk about different kinds of movement, I don't mean endless amounts of cardio. Cardio isn't actually going to help you reach your weight loss goals because with your fluctuating and changing hormones, your body is going to want to hold on to more body fat, especially if you're restricting calories too much. So one that I highly recommend for women is resistance or weight training because it helps it helps the most with shedding that extra body fat and it helps you keep your strong bones. So this is something you do not have to go to a gym for. You can use resistance bands or weights in your house. You can, use your own body weight. There's a lot of different ways to do that. And there's a lot of different free online videos. If you are actually using free weights, I would say get a trainer for a little while, just so you're doing it properly. You need the proper technique and stance. That way you're getting the most out of it and you're being safe about it. But definitely resistance training will help you a lot more than cardio will at this time. Next up, practical step number 3, get quality sleep. And I know this is a challenge, especially for women with night sweats. But there are things that we can do. You can use the other practical steps I'm talking about here. They are going to absolutely help. And then we need to set up a sleep routine. Yes, just like a toddler. Set up your sleep routine. Turn off the TV, put down the devices, getting your body into routine so it understands that it's time for rest. We don't need to watch the next episode. There are other things you can do, like a brain dump. A lot of people have this busy mind before they go to sleep, all of their to-do list and everything running around up there. I've done this before where it's like, I got to get this out of here. I don't actually do that a lot anymore. I get it out all of the time. So I don't have this racing brain. So doing a brain dump, what's going on in your head, this journaling, your thoughts, your to-do list, everything. Just dump it out there so you know it's there when you get up in the morning. Changing your environment. It should be dark and cool. Take the devices out so they're not in there. You know, your room should be for sleeping and sexy times only. So get all the clutter out of there and make it your sleep room. Meditating can help as well. That puts you out of fight or flight stress, and calms you down for sleep. There's a lot of free sleep meditations out there. And get personalized help with health challenges. If you have something like sleep apnea or another health challenge that's keeping you awake, get personalized help with that so that you can get the sleep that you need. Practical step number 3, reduce stress. Oh my goodness, ladies, it's so overwhelming us these days. And this one is so important, especially for perimenopause and menopause symptoms, because stress is tied to our hormones. So look at where your stress is coming from. How can you reduce it? And I talk to clients about this all the time, and we literally look at their schedule. So what do you have up for this week, the next 2 weeks? What's going on that you feel that you don't have time? Right? As women, we find it hard to say no. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to ask for help. You don't have to do everything yourself. There are other people in your world that can help you. You do not have to say yes to absolutely everything. So again, I always like to say, and you don't have to be mean about saying no. Just do it in a way like, you know, what I say is put yourself in your schedule. If you have your schedule there and you're not in it, there's something wrong with it. So when you put yourself in your schedule, you can say, if somebody asks you to do something, say, oh, I'm busy at that time. Can we do it another time? Right? It's a nice way to say no, or saying no completely. But they don't have to know that it's for you. So you need to schedule yourself into your days and your weeks, because if you don't, we're not able to do any of these things that help our health and wellness. So managing your schedule is a big one. You do have time, because we always have time for the things that we want to do. So again, reframing those thoughts. This is something that I want. I want to feel healthy. I want to be vibrant. I want to reduce my symptoms. And this is a part of doing it. Okay. So put you in your schedule. Reframing our thoughts. We already talked about a little bit, reframing our thoughts towards that. Breathing exercise really helps with reducing stress. If you're doing those deep belly breaths, again, meditating takes you out of fight or flight as well. Gratitude takes you out of fight or flight. So if you focus on things that you're grateful for, taking a walk in nature, maybe you want to see a therapist. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need someone to talk to about your stress and what's happening in your life, absolutely take that step. And this stuff should become a part of our lifestyle. It's not a once and done thing, because stress is always going to come up in our lives. So we need to make ourselves a priority in our lives. Okay, so practical step number 5. You need to focus on the foundation of your health. What we eat and drink has a lot to do with how we feel and our overall health. Eating healthier is going to give your body the nutrients and building blocks it needs to help with perimenopause and menopause symptoms, have energy, lose weight, be fit and healthy. And on the other side, drinking things like pop, too much caffeine, eating fast and convenience, non-foods. If you're eating that stuff all the time, it won't give your body the nutrients and building blocks it needs. So as I mentioned before, were you taught how to eat to support your unique body to help give it those building blocks it needs to have energy, a strong immune system, a good microbiome, reduce your symptoms, help with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, insulin resistance, and extra body fat? No, I wasn't either. As I said, I wasn't taught any of that until I went to school for it, which is not everyone's path, nor should it be. But what you eat or don't is the foundation of your health. When you eat, that's again what you're giving your body nutrients and building blocks or not. So it is the foundation of your health. So you want to incorporate healthy fats, good proteins, and complex carbs with lots of fiber. I know you've heard this before, right? This is not a secret, but it is a challenge. The other challenge with this is the diet industry. And if you've been a dieter before, you may be a little afraid to add healthy fats or, more carbs because of this diet industry thing always saying, either fat is bad or carbs are bad or eat all this protein. So you need to have these in a kind of a balance. And we need not to vilify food groups because it's not the food group that is bad. It's like what we're doing with that food group. So we also want to add in hormone supporting foods, some of which are on the screen, the phytoestrogen foods, apples and berries and grapes, peaches, broccoli. Again, you don't have to eat broccoli if you don't like it, but broccoli is a phytoestrogen food. Kale, I don't eat Brussels sprouts. That's not one I eat. Onions, spinach, sprouts, there's some grains, quinoa, brown rice, oats, and buckwheat. There's a lot of different foods that help support your hormones. And now we're back to how. As I said, how do I start to eat healthier and incorporate it into my life so I can get all the benefits, right? I see all this healthy food. What am I supposed to do with it? How much am I supposed to eat? How do I actually make it so it tastes good and it's not hard or, I'm not buying all these weird ingredients, right? I hear you. I get it. And as much as I'd love to wave my magic wand and download all of that knowledge to you in a second, it just doesn't work that way. And that's why I created my program called Nourish Me. This is a more realistic, long-term, sustainable solution towards weight wellness and menopause mastery. This is saying goodbye to diet frustrations, energy slumps, and information overload. Getting relief from those frustrating symptoms and learning how to make informed, healthy, happy choices and feeling relaxed and radiant in your skin. It's created to give women just like you that step-by-step way to learn how to nourish yourself so you can be healthy and fit at any age. As I said, when you do diets, you do them for a short period of time and then go back to doing what you were doing before, which wasn't working. Now, when you learn how to eat in a way that nourishes your body and helps you fit into your sexy jeans, you don't need diets because it's just what you do. You don't need to do anything else. So it takes that stress away. And it doesn't mean you'll just be eating salads and never have treats or eat broccoli. Some people don't like broccoli. That's, you're eating the foods that you prefer, that you pick. And we're doing this in a way that's sustainable. It's not realistic to go the rest of your life without having your treats or your birthday cake. I don't do that. I mean, we need to learn in a way that it's for everyday life. You go out for dinner, you go to birthday parties, you go to weddings, you live your life. So we need to learn a way to support our bodies and live our life as well. That's what this program is about. So when you nourish yourself this way, you're helping to balance your hormones, not just declining estrogen, progesterone, but insulin and cortisol, which has to do with blood sugar and inflammation. And that's why eating in a way that supports your body is the foundation of your health. And once you learn it, you know it. No one can take it away. No one can take that information away. No one can take that knowledge away. It's yours. It's yours for life. And when you eat this way, again, you're not only helping with perimenopause and menopause symptoms, you're helping with your overall health, your immune system, how you're thinking. You think clear. You're actually helping with stress because you're helping your hormones. You're helping it all. That's why I focused on a program that helps people nourish themselves, because when you learn this, again, it's foundational to everything. It helps all of the other steps that I've talked about. So included in the program is lifetime access to the modules and the classes. These are practical steps that you learn, and it's your unique way of eating healthier. So there are 7 live coaching sessions. When I run it live, you have essential resources. There are bonus classes on conquering constipation, understanding insulin resistance. It's a big thing. And intuitive eating. Let's not be stuck in, what am I allowed to eat? There's so much in this program. So you can go to my website, cynthiabrace.com. Martha's going to provide a link as well. There's also free resources on my website. But this program is about nourishing yourself as a unique person, because, I know how to do it in my lifestyle, and everyone is different, right? The way you do it and the way I would do it is completely different because everybody has a different lifestyle. And it's not about depriving yourself to get to your goals. It's about how you're doing it in everyday life.
I definitely hear you for this, Cynthia, because there's just so much different courses and things like that that we can go into. And it is important to realize that there is a lot of things that we can do for us, but it doesn't have to be a hurdle, especially when you have an expert that is helping you. Life can be so much more simpler, so much more easier, and you can get a lot more happiness from it.
Yeah, I didn't, I've had people take the class and they're like, the way you present it, it's easy. And the things that we're doing to move towards, this, eating healthier, it's an easy process, and the exercises really help, and they're really getting these results. I'm like, oh, I get this now. This totally makes sense.
Mm.
So
That's
yeah, it
it.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And anyone that who's interested to find out more, the best thing to do is just jump onto Cynthia's website, book in for a chat with her, and then see if you guys can actually align and if she can help you. Because yes, everybody's situation is different. So we wanted to make sure that you are aligned with yourself and you are ready to do something different about it. Because yes, as human, we always say, yeah, I want to do something, but when we ask to take the action, we properly think about all the excuses that we can find from 20 years ago. So, but that's just human behavior, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that, are you having enough of suffering? Are you
Yeah.
ready to make a change to your life so you feel better? Or are
Yeah.
you willing to continue to stay in the familiar, stay in that comfort zone, and hoping something will change? That's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, it is a big difference, and it's a really big reason why I talk to women so much about that mindset shift.
Mhm.
And that's why I talk about mindset and your story. And because it does, once you understand what's happening up here, you're like, oh, that's why I've been holding back. I get that now. So
Mm.
yes, as Martha says, contact me. We can have a chat to see what works for you. Again, the program is just an easy way to do that. And when I do run it live, we do a lot of that mindset work in the live sessions for sure.
Yeah, I always say that it comes from our mind, it motivate our health, it also motivate our life. That's actually how we actually work. It is coming from the brain. That's where it actually starts. So Cynthia, thank you so much again for sharing your courses with us today, how we've been in here today. It's just been wonderful talking to you. So anyone who wants
Thank
to reach
you.
out to Cynthia, feel free to do that. If you have any questions, feel free to put it down onto the comment there, and then Cynthia will be able to see it and she will be able to answer directly for you. And Cynthia is also one of our experts in the group, so don't be afraid to ask her for any support. I do tag her sometimes into our post when I see that she needs, she can be a bit of a suggestion support, because I understand that we're all going through something, but unfortunately, not everyone is having that expertise to help us. So instead of getting the wrong message, I rather you get it from someone who's professional, who know what they're talking about, who can give you the guidance from a trained background, a qualified person. That's the difference. And that's the kind of quality knowledge that I want you to have. It is also our purpose at Knowledge is Power, first day, to help you to get the knowledge you need. Once again, thank you, Cynthia, for coming with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all our audience and listeners who have joined us today. I look forward to see you at another time at Knowledge is Power. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Martha.